Nvidia's stock went up over 200% in a single year. Everyone knows that story. But here's what most people missed. The company Wall Street is quietly calling the next Nvidia isn't a chip designer. It doesn't make GPUs. It makes memory. And right now, some of the biggest names in finance are betting billions that Micron technology is about to have its own Nvidia moment. So what do they know that most of us don't? Let's rewind for a second. When the AI boom exploded, everyone rushed to buy Nvidia stock. And for good reason. Nvidia makes the GPUs that power AI training, the H100s, the Blackwells, the chips that every major tech company is desperate to get their hands on. Nvidia became the poster child for the AI trade, and its valuation reflected that. But here's the thing about AI that most people overlook. GPUs don't work alone. They need memory, lots of it, insane amounts of it. Every time an AI model processes a request, every time ChatGPT answers your question, every time an image gets generated, every time a self-driving car makes a split-second decision, there's a massive amount of data moving at incredible speed through memory chips. And right now, the AI industry is running into a wall. Not a GPU shortage, a memory shortage. Specifically, a shortage of something called HBM, high bandwidth memory. This is a special kind of memory stack that sits right next to AI processors and feeds them data faster than traditional memory ever could. Without enough HBM, even the most powerful AI chips in the world get bottlenecked. They sit there waiting for data. And that waiting kills performance. There are only 3 companies in the world that make HBM at scale: Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. 2 of them are South Korean. 1 of them is American. And that one American company, Micron, is suddenly looking very, very interesting to Wall Street. So why Micron specifically? And why now? Let's break this down. For most of its history, Micron was considered a boring, cyclical business. Memory prices go up, memory prices go down. Micron profits go up, Micron profits go down. It was predictable in the worst possible way. Analysts covered it, but nobody got excited about it. It was the kind of stock you held, not the kind you talked about at dinner. Then AI happened, and everything changed. HBM is not your standard memory chip. It's significantly harder to manufacture. The chips are stacked vertically, like a skyscraper instead of a single floor, which requires incredibly precise engineering. The yield rates, meaning how many good chips you actually get out of the manufacturing process, are much lower than regular memory. That makes it expensive to produce. But it also means the margins are dramatically higher. We're talking about memory that sells for several times the price of conventional DRAM. Here's where it gets really interesting. Micron has been investing heavily in HBM technology for years, and they're now starting to ship HBM3E, their latest generation, directly to Nvidia for use in the GB200, which is Nvidia's most advanced AI chip to date. Let that sink in. Micron's memory is going inside Nvidia's most powerful hardware. These 2 companies are now deeply linked, and demand isn't slowing down. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, all of them are spending hundreds of billions of dollars building AI data centers. Every single one of those data centers needs HBM. Analysts at Morgan Stanley and Bank of America have both raised price targets on Micron significantly, citing HBM demand as a structural tailwind, meaning this isn't a short-term pop. This is a fundamental shift in what memory is worth. There's also a geopolitical angle here that's hard to ignore. The US government has been pushing hard to onshore semiconductor manufacturing. Micron is the only major American memory maker. They've already secured billions in CHIPS Act funding to build new fabs in Idaho and New York. If you believe that the next decade of AI infrastructure is going to be built with a strong preference for American-made components, and there's a real political argument for that, then Micron's position becomes even more strategic. Now, is Micron exactly like Nvidia? Not quite. Nvidia has an almost unbreakable moat through its CUDA software ecosystem. Micron is still competing with Samsung and SK Hynix, which are formidable companies. And the memory industry can still be volatile. But the comparison Wall Street is drawing isn't about the business model being identical. It's about the timing. Nvidia was in the right place at the right time with the right product when AI demand exploded. Micron may be at exactly that same inflection point right now, just one cycle behind. Think about it this way. If AI compute is the engine, memory is the fuel line. You can have the most powerful engine in the world, but if the fuel can't get there fast enough, it doesn't matter. HBM is that fuel line, and Micron is one of the very few companies on Earth that can supply it at scale. So what does this actually mean going forward? A few things worth watching. First, pay attention to Micron's earnings reports, specifically their HBM revenue numbers. That's the signal. If HBM revenue keeps climbing as a percentage of total sales, the bull case gets stronger every quarter. Second, watch what happens with AI capex from the big cloud providers. If Microsoft and Google keep spending at the pace they've announced, memory demand doesn't let up. Third, keep an eye on the competitive landscape. SK Hynix currently leads in HBM market share, but Micron is catching up fast, and their yields on HBM3E are reportedly improving quickly. The broader takeaway here is that AI isn't just a software story, it's a hardware story. And the hardware story isn't just about processors, it's about the entire ecosystem that makes those processors actually work. Memory is no longer a commodity, it's critical infrastructure. And the companies that make it, especially the ones making the hardest to produce, highest performance versions, are going to matter a lot more than anyone expected just a few years ago. Whether Micron becomes the next Nvidia in terms of returns, nobody can say for certain. But the structural case for why it could, that's more compelling than ever. And if you're a YouTube creator yourself, check out CPMS Scout at cpmsscout.com. It shows you exactly which topics pay the highest CPM so you can make smarter videos. Link in the description.